Former President Trump is expected to attend a hearing in New York City today at 10 a.m. Eastern on his hush money case. That's the same day of his deadline to post the $454 million bond in his New York civil fraud case. If the former president does not pay the bond today, the state could begin freezing his accounts and seizing properties. I spoke with his son, the executive vice president of the Trump Organization, Eric Trump, yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures, saying that he says this could hurt more people than just his father. Watch.
This is New York State. This is what we're seeing. Letitia James campaigned on this promise, and now they're making him do something that's not physically possible. Putting up a $500 million bond. Bonds that size don't exist in this country. The banks all testified Trump was the greatest borrower we've ever had. I mean, there was no victim. This is a crooked system with a crooked attorney general in a crooked court that literally wants to put my father out of business. And you know who they're actually going to hurt? They're going to hurt the thousands and thousands of employees that we have in New York State. These are janitors. These are doormen. These are, people that work in commercial buildings.
Well, the Trump family has now appealed to try to put up less than the $500 million, Luke. Yep. Your reaction? We're waiting to see if that would be acceptable.
So let's put this into perspective. Bernie Madoff, who defrauded investors of billions of dollars, only had to put up a $10 million bond. And Trump, with no direct victims in this potential crime, has to put up $450 million, right? So the fact of the matter is it's very politically driven, and every American out there should be scared of the fact that if they can go after somebody like Donald Trump, who is a billionaire, they can come after you. And frankly, with the IRS agents of 180,000 IRS agents being added over the past couple of years, that tells me that really the government's looking to get involved in all of our pocketbooks, right? And another thing to put into perspective is, $500 million of cash, on a $2 billion net worth, that's like middle-class America. If you had a $300,000 mortgage and $100,000 in savings, it's like getting $100,000 in savings completely wiped out. You're now left with a $300,000 mortgage, and maybe you have to get a home equity line of credit to pay for your lifestyle, right? So everyone should put these into dollar terms to be relatable and how Trump is truly feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason that so many people are worried about doing business in New York. They're saying if this can be done to him, what about me? Todd Pyro, your reaction?
I mean, that's 100% right. And you've seen the people with the money who, despite what the Democrats love to say about them, are the engines that keep our economy moving because they're the ones that hire people. If they're not going to come to New York City's in big trouble. And it's that doom loop that we've talked about a lot with these big cities. You're right, because if you don't have those big investors in the city, you lose your tax base. And if you lose your tax base, you lose the ability to pay for all of these programs because the people that will then fill these cities are not the ones that are supporting the tax base. That's a huge problem for public safety. It's a huge problem for the politicians who run it. And nothing will change unless the people that vote those individuals out for people who have their best interests in mind. This all comes back to Trump. He's shining a light with his legal difficulties on the horrific system in these big cities like New York, and it shows why people are flocking to places where you don't have to worry about this. And Maria, let me add, you can work in any place in our country right now following the pandemic because of remote work. You don't need to be in New York City. The only reason a lot of people are in this city, Maria, and you well know, is single people trying to find a mate. I mean, let's be realistic. That's how this city moves. At some point, even that's going to go away. There was an article in the Post on it that said even singles are moving out of the city. That's a huge problem taken as a whole. New York's in trouble, especially with this.
It's the reason that I'm wondering why you're not hearing from more real estate titans, business people in New York outraged by this treatment, although Bloomberg is out with a piece about certain Wall Street and Silicon Valley titans either overtly or quietly supporting Trump as the GOP presidential nominee, including activist investor Nelson Peltz. In an interview with the Financial Times, Nelson Peltz said that he is concerned about President Biden's mental condition and the 91 criminal charges in federal and state courts that Trump is facing represents what he calls a miscarriage of justice. Peltz reportedly says he may not give Trump financial support and that he and Tesla's Elon Musk hosted a dinner to, quote, talk about what the country needed. Peltz also said that he's ready to settle for, quote, not a perfect candidate, nor is Biden. It looks like Trump is all we've got. Peltz supporting Trump, but doing so in a muted way, Todd. Your reaction?
Well, I think either they're going to support him in a muted way like that, or to your earlier point in the Wall Street Journal article, they're going to quietly or not at all support him, even though they're going to vote for him. Why? They don't want the Letitia Jameses of the world coming after them.
That's right.
And that's the simple answer. They have all these billions. They don't want Letitia James putting them through what they're putting Trump through.
Right, and they're worried about retaliation.
Yeah.
We are just getting started this morning.